Have you ever wondered how Elon Musk can run multiple billion-dollar companies, dive deep into subjects like rocket science, AI, and underground transportation, and still recall staggering amounts of information? It almost seems superhuman, but it's not magic. It's about strategy, discipline, and cognitive habits you can adopt yourself. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating techniques Elon Musk uses to cultivate his razor-sharp memory, and we'll break down 9 powerful science-backed tips you can start using today to learn anything faster and more efficiently. Let's start by unpacking the cognitive engine behind one of the most productive minds in the world. Elon Musk's cognitive superpower. First principles thinking. Elon Musk doesn't just memorize information, he restructures how he thinks about knowledge. His approach is rooted in something called first principles thinking. Instead of learning by analogy, which is how most of us learn, he breaks complex topics down into their most fundamental truths. Then he builds up from there. Let's say he's learning about batteries. Instead of accepting existing models or designs, he breaks down what a battery is made of, lithium, cobalt, nickel, and asks, what's the cost of these materials and why are batteries expensive? This allows him to reconstruct problems from scratch and find smarter solutions others miss. Why does this help with memory? Because memory thrives on structure. When you understand something at its core instead of just memorizing facts, your brain naturally creates deeper and more lasting neural connections. It's like building a house on a solid foundation instead of just piling bricks on sand. This way of thinking rewires how you learn. And it's not just useful for innovation, it makes you remember things better. Why? Because when you connect information to its underlying logic, it becomes intuitive. Your brain understands the why, not just the what. Now that we've explored Musk's intellectual framework, let's dive into 9 actionable techniques that can help you learn faster and enhance your memory, whether you're a student, a professional, or just curious about the world. Use active recall instead of passive review. Most people reread notes or highlight text thinking repetition will help them remember, but the science tells a different story. Active recall is far superior. Active recall means testing yourself. After reading something, close the book and try to write down or explain what you've just learned without looking. This forces your brain to retrieve the information, strengthening the memory trace. Elon Musk famously quizzes himself constantly. He doesn't just read and move on, he reflects, recalls, and reconstructs what he's read or heard. If you want to retain knowledge, don't just read it, challenge yourself to retrieve it. Try flashcards, practice questions, or simply teaching the concept to someone else. The more effort you put into recalling something, the more firmly it becomes embedded in your long-term memory. Spaced repetition, let time work for you. Your brain forgets things rapidly if you don't revisit them. This is where spaced repetition comes in. Instead of cramming, space out your reviews. Study something today, review it tomorrow, then again in 3 days, then a week, and so on. Each time you're about to forget it, you bring it back to mind, which strengthens the memory. There are apps like Anki and SuperMemo designed for this. They use algorithms to show you material right before you're about to forget it. Spaced repetition works particularly well for learning languages, medical terms, technical definitions, or anything that requires memorization. It's how medical students can recall thousands of terms, and how Musk remembers details about everything from orbital mechanics to AI frameworks. Build mental models. A mental model is a framework for understanding how something works. Elon Musk once said, "You can't remember what you don't understand. That's key." Instead of memorizing isolated facts, try to fit them into a bigger picture. Think of learning like building a web. Each new piece of knowledge should connect to others. The more connections you make, the stronger your recall becomes. Let's say you're learning economics. Rather than just memorizing supply and demand curves, Try to understand the broader model of market dynamics. Ask how inflation, interest rates, and consumer behavior interrelate. The more context you create, the easier it is to remember. When Musk learns about new technologies or industries, he doesn't just learn the jargon, he develops complete mental maps of how systems work. That's what allows him to speak intelligently about rockets, cars, software, and energy grids with equal fluency. Use the Feynman Technique. This one is deceptively simple and extraordinarily effective. Named after physicist Richard Feynman, the method involves teaching what you're learning to someone else, in the simplest way possible. Here's how it works. Take a topic you're studying and try to explain it to a 10-year-old. Use plain language. If you can't do it, it means you don't fully understand it. Go back, study again, and refine your explanation. The process forces you to identify gaps in your understanding. It also strengthens memory because teaching engages higher cognitive functions. Musk often simplifies complex ideas this way to ensure he's mastered them deeply. When you can explain something simply, you don't just understand it better, you remember it longer. Embrace interleaved learning. Most people practice block learning. They study one topic intensely, then move to the next. But research shows that mixing different but related topics, known as interleaved learning, is far more effective. For example, instead of doing 20 math problems on one concept, do 5 from one area, 5 from another, and so on. Your brain works harder to retrieve the right method, which improves long-term learning. This also mirrors real life. Problems don't show up neatly sorted. Musk learns by juggling multiple disciplines at once, from AI to physics to regulatory policy. That cognitive cross-training builds flexible, adaptable intelligence and better memory. So, mix up your study sessions. It might feel harder at first, but that struggle is exactly what makes the learning stick. Create visual anchors and mind maps. The human brain is incredibly visual. We evolved to remember faces, landscapes, and objects, not strings of text. Use this to your advantage. Try creating mind maps, diagrams that branch out from a central idea, or use visual metaphors to represent abstract ideas. For example, imagine a neuron firing like a lightning bolt when learning about the nervous system. You can also use the method of loci, or memory palace technique, where you place ideas along a visualized journey through a familiar space. This technique was used by ancient Greek orators and still works wonders today. Elon Musk often talks about forming visual chunks of knowledge. He doesn't just memorize lines of code or engineering specs, he sees systems, structures, and designs in his mind. That visual thinking boosts both creativity and memory retention. 7. Optimize your learning state, sleep, nutrition, and focus. You can have the best strategies in the world, but if your brain isn't functioning at full capacity, you'll struggle. The quality of your memory is deeply influenced by your biology. Sleep is critical. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates memories, moving them from short-term to long-term storage. Elon Musk has said he tries to get about 6 hours a night, knowing he performs better when he does. Nutrition matters too. Omega-3s, antioxidants, and proper hydration all impact cognitive function. Avoid sugar crashes and fuel your brain like an elite performer. And finally, focus. Multitasking is the enemy of memory. If you're checking your phone every 5 minutes, you're fragmenting your attention and weakening recall. Try the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break. Use tools like website blockers to keep distractions at bay. When Musk is in deep work mode, he turns everything off and immerses himself. 8. Learn by doing. Musk didn't learn how to build rockets by reading books alone. He got involved. He built prototypes, he coded, he asked questions. Learning by doing is one of the fastest ways to turn knowledge into memory. If you want to remember something, use it. Apply the theory. Build a project. Write a blog post. Debate the idea. When you engage with material actively, you force your brain to make more connections. The more senses and actions involved, the deeper the memory. Reading is passive, doing is active, and active learning always wins. 9. Cultivate relentless curiosity. Finally, the most underrated memory enhancer, genuine curiosity. Elon Musk is obsessed with learning, not because he has to, but because he wants to. When you're deeply curious about a subject, your brain treats it differently. You focus more, you retain more, and you enjoy the process. Ask more questions, go down rabbit holes, challenge your assumptions, follow your fascinations. The more emotionally invested you are, the more your brain pays attention. Learning becomes not a chore but a thrill, and that passion becomes your biggest cognitive advantage. Bringing it all together, let's quickly recap. Elon Musk's memory isn't photographic, it's strategic. He uses first principles thinking to understand topics at their root. He actively recalls information, spaces out his learning, builds mental models, explains things simply, and cross-trains his brain across disciplines. He visualizes ideas, optimizes his mental state, learns by doing, and above all stays relentlessly curious. The truth is, you don't need to be a genius to remember more or learn faster. You need better habits, you need intention, and you need to build a system that turns raw information into lasting knowledge. Start by choosing just one of these techniques today. Maybe try active recall after this video, or build a mind map of something you've been studying. As you apply these principles, you'll notice something amazing. Not only will you remember more, you'll think more clearly, solve problems faster, and feel more confident in your knowledge. That's the real secret behind Elon Musk's extraordinary brain. It's not about innate talent, it's about how he learns. And now so can you. Which of these techniques are you going to try?